Welcome back to episode whatever we're up to. I'm not sure anymore. I think it's episode 8. Yeah, episode 8 of the what is it, the Alphos and Sweet podcast?
Alphos and Sweet.
You know, yeah.
Wow,
I know what
podcast name really
it's
well.
You know, this one to record's been a long time coming, and we've been trying to do it, but my friend here's been a little bit under the weather, and to be honest, I think it's that time of season I'm not feeling too great either. So it's been a little bit hard to record, and not too long ago you were playing in the Hong Kong DLC, which we're going to talk about, and we're going to mention some things about Set 11 because I think that's where everyone's eyes are at right now. And like, what events are coming? Like, I'm quite excited for Set 11. I've got a couple events already booked and ready for it. You know, really excited to get traveling again. Like, I've been a little bit off at the start of the month just because I'm not going to Asia. I don't have the money for it. But yeah, like,
mate, you gotta get yourself a sponsor. Gotta get paid for it.
The thing is, like, I didn't want to like have to practice with teams because I've got kind of a setup with how I like to practice. I've got players I like to, you know, chat with and like play games with. But
you can do that anyway. Even when what
I've learned now is that no team practices with each other, and so you can do that anyway. So that's something interesting though. So next team out there, you know, hit me up and I'll join. I'll sign on the dotted line. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got my own little structure for like testing and like the players I talk with and talk with yourself as well. And I like how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I just see you sitting in VC with fumbles all the time. It's either in the SLTC or the Lounge Discord. Really, you can do it in either secret Discord.
Yeah, pretty much. Like fumbles is the one I don't know, our schedules seem to be that we can play games together a lot. But of course, like in DMs, I usually chat with people and then say like, let's test this card out and play 50 games of it. If the card's terrible, let's move on to the next one. You know, I like doing those things. But yeah, no, we're going to be talking about some Set 11, some testing and stuff. But I think we should really start off with is the Hong Kong DLC, because it's a little bit behind us now, but it's good for us to chat about it. And I think even if you're not looking at the results because it was a Set 10 event, I think it's good to be talking about the sort of mental process and everything. It was a best of one event. I feel like there was a lot that had to go into the prep for that. Do you think?
Yeah. If anything, I probably underestimated how much it being best of one really changed the format. Because from my perspective, I was like, well, it's best of one, right? And I won every game one except for 2 in the Richmond DLC. So surely it's just the same thing, right? You're just playing the same game, you're mulling the same as you would in game 1 of a blind mull and a best of 3. And like that is, all of those things are true. The thing that doesn't really hit you is sort of just like the mental side of it, of how much worse it feels to lose to variance when that one game decides the whole round. In my case, I had been actually not playing green-blue. I had been testing yellow-purple for 2 weeks. I'd played like 250 games of yellow-purple. I'd won a set champs with it, came top 4 at another set champs with it. And like, you know, not small set champs. Like this was London set champs with some good players, some of my teammates in there. And I was feeling really confident on the list until I'd say about 2 days before flying out for Hong Kong. It just felt like everyone was playing Wasabi on Blurple, and everyone was playing Benja and Purple Steel. The bigger problem was Blurple. Like on the draw, you get your lantern broken. That feels really horrible, and it made me a bit scared to lock the deck in. And then with green blue, I thought, hey, even if it's best of one, you sort of mull the same on the play and on the draw, right? On the play, you're mulling for Clara. On the draw, you're mulling for Philip. The only matchup where that really changes is Dogs and Burn, right? Where you kind of want Philip on the play as well. And so I figured, depending on the meta, I can bring both of these decks, and depending on what I see on the day, I can change, right? And when it comes to, we land Friday morning. We go to a Hong Kong locals. I actually end up winning a foil Demona because I went X and 1, and then you got to like choose a card. I went to get food. Zan chose the card for me, so thank you, Zan. And I did well with yellow purple. It felt pretty good. But then the next day, on the Saturday at the side event, still feeling really jet lagged at this point. I was so tired the day before. I think my brain was a little bit delirious, which affected this decision making. There was a side event. I bring green blue. I Frio in the side events, get my 40 tickets, or however many it was, and I go, wow, green-blue feels pretty good. So the big thing is looking like... So there's a really weird thing with this tournament, which also affected my decision, was that you had to submit your whole deck list to do the early check-in.
Oh, that's
Like you
what?
could, yeah, like you couldn't just submit it on PlayHub. You had to submit your full deck list to do the early check-in. So I felt like I was incentivized to like sort out my deck
Is that just to get the
the
badge
day
and
before.
stuff? The early, it's
Yeah,
the
just to
same
get the badge, you
process.
had to submit your
Oh,
deck
that's
list.
mad. Yeah.
It's really, really odd. I think it's because maybe they didn't have attendee badges because people could just walk into the venue anyway. There's like free entry and you could play side events even without an attendee badge.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I'm looking around the room and I'm looking at what I'm walking around the tables because everyone's got their deck lists out, everyone's got their Dreamborns up, their cards out, and I'm looking around at what inks people are locking in. And then we see a lot of dogs, a lot of green blue, like way more than expected for a best of one event, and a lot of blurple, and not much purple steel, which, like, I don't know, because I'd been feeling so wary about yellow purple into blurple because of wasabi, and into green blue, it just felt kind of 50-50. I think there was actually, no, I changed my mind. I think there was a good amount of purple steel too. It made me think that despite it being best of one, green blue would be a really good pick. And I was feeling really uncomfortable in yellow purple, despite it being the deck I had way more reps with this set. Because even though I did really well with Richmond in green blue, I only had like 16 games of the deck before I brought it to Richmond, as we discussed in the last podcast episode before Hong Kong. So I figured, it's whatever. Like, let me just ask some people, see what they think. They all thought green blue was a better pick than yellow purple, and they sort of like, they'll like, pick the deck you're comfortable with. And I was like, when I'm playing green blue, I never feel like I'm worried about if I'm making the right choice. Like, I feel like it's a fairly linear deck, and I know the deck so well because I played hundreds of games with it in set 9, that I felt like it was easy for me to make decisions. I wouldn't make a mistake. Whereas with yellow purple, I only have like very limited experience on playing purple decks. Like, I played like maybe 150 games of purple seal back in set 9, and then didn't play any purple like since then. Never played it in the DLC. Only like I won a Vizatu 1K with purple steel, but I felt like there was always these tiny errors I was making with purple decks. So I figured if I'm not going to play yellow purple best, my other consideration was playing Monster OTK. I played about 50 games of the Monster OTK version, but I felt like it was worse into the green blue list, so I decided not to lock it. And yeah, I think it's sort of like I had that like spiraling moment of like really doubting the list I was playing, and in all previous DLCs where I had like a day or two of bad testing before the DLC, I only had access to one deck, so I just bring that deck anyway and do well despite the 2 days of bad testing. But in this scenario, because I had 2 decks in my bag, for the first time ever, I could actually swap deck if I wanted to, which kind of goes against everything I believed in with locking in a deck before the event. And then I switched to green blue the night before, last minute decision, write the deck list, bring it early in the morning so that I can get my check-in badge. And then I'm playing, and it's, I win game 1, fine. Game 2, I miss ramp in the mirror, and I lose, because my opponent top decks a second bend. Game 3, I win. Game 4, I lose on the draw to purple steel, because I miss ramp, and I don't find the fill-up combo. And then game 5, I win. And then game 6, again, I lose, because I miss ramp into blurple. And maybe there was a decision I could have made to win. I was trying to avoid not being able to I was trying to avoid not being able to ink, so I had Philip combo, then they into the unknown my Philip combo, and if on a previous turn from Visions, if I had grabbed Bend, I would have been able to play the Bend, but I was playing around not getting too many uninkables, and I think that decision lost me the game because I sort of just like lost in the top deck war after that. And so I'm free, and I've lost 2 matches I'm supposed to win, right? Because I missed ramp in the 3 games I lost. And it just sucks. It sucks to lose 1 game to missing ramp, and that's your whole round gone. Whereas at least if I was playing yellow-purple and I miss Lantern, which is a higher chance to miss Lantern, because, with missing ramp, it's like I'm playing 4 develop, so it's like a 6%, 5% chance to miss ramp, and I hit that 3 times in 7 games. Then at least I could have had a fighting chance with the standard purple curve of like Cheshire Cat into evasives and whatever tools I had. And I think that the thing that really like drove the sword in my heart for my decision was that I'd convinced one of our teammates, Will, to switch to yellow purple. I'd been trying to teach him the deck Like he was asking a lot of questions about mulligans and certain lines as much as I could the day before, and he was switching off Burn because we realized there was so many dogs in the meta that Burn was just a horrible pick for this tournament. He ended up doing really well with yellow purple. He went 5-1 into ID 5-1-1 going into top cut, and he did end up like losing in top 64 in the yellow purple mirror match. But I realized like the deck I was practicing with and the deck I decided was a good bring based on my predictions of the meta 2 weeks before, and I've been practicing it for 2 weeks because of that. I'd practiced a lot with Dave, Attack for Two, who got top 16 with yellow purple in Richmond. I was so incredibly prepared for that deck, but because of the jet lag and the nerves and of just really doubting myself in the days before the tournament, I ended up swapping decks last minute, and I think that's the worst decision I could have made for Hong Kong. Because while green-blue wasn't a bad pick, for best of one, I think yellow-purple would have been way better, and I had way more practice on the deck for that format. So I think if there's anything to take away, and this is the first, mind you, this is the first DLC I've ever done this badly. Like, I went 4-3. Like, I ended up finishing like 137th. The DLC equivalent of that, because it's like 500 players, would have been being like top 500 at a normal DLC. By far my worst performance ever. The first time I've come home completely empty-handed. And yeah, it was a hard thing to grapple with, and because you're only playing 7 best of 1 games, so it's basically like 3 rounds in best of 3 terms, it just felt very unsatisfying to fly all the way to the other side of the world and then just do this poorly, and then really regret my deck decision. So yeah, I think some of this stuff mentally before tournaments is really important, like not spiraling, trusting your decisions. Like, I think there are reasons to swap decks, but at the end of the day, I should have backed myself a bit more as a player and not doubted that I could play well in yellow purple, because I ended up just slipping back into playing what I played at the last DLC. And it's really hard to be like, I did great with this deck at the last DLC and then not bring it to the next one when it's the same format. But I mean, the thing is, it's not the same format. It's like 2-week-old meta. Green-blue was the best pick for Richmond, and people are going to adapt to it. It doesn't make it the best pick for the next tournament, and it doesn't make it the best pick into best of one.
Yeah, I remember when you you picked it because you asked me what do you think would be a good choice for best of one, and I just, because I knew Attack for Two, I just got top 16 with it, and I was like, it's a purple deck. It's not purple still, and it has a fairly linear. I mean, all the purple decks kind of are just very linear, aren't they? They kind of probably do better in best of one because there are things you'd want, like if you were Blurple and you knew you were playing into Amber Steel or Dogs, like I'd want to look for XYZ, but still, if you're on the play and you just do like ramp into Genie, into Elsa, you just win like 90% of those games, don't you? So like,
yeah, for the most part, you're just grabbing the same curve.
Majority of the time, and of course, if you know the matchup, then maybe you do tend to go, I do need a 1-drop, or I do need to send a bit harder for this, but overall they will do. So I said the yellow purple seemed the strongest, because also getting access to like Mowgli is just nuts, and you beat all the other purple decks because you get like Horseman Strikes and stuff like that. But then you woke up and I said, how have you done? And you said, I missed ramp 3 times. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound like yellow purple to me.
Unless you refer to Lantern as ramp, then that's entirely possible.
I guess so, yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. But the best of one environment is just so much different as well. And it can be so backbreaking to lose because of variance.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt especially bad talking to Dave about it because he saw me talk about how I regretted picking green-blue. And he was like, you did what? You locked green-blue? And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like, I was so grateful to... I'd been in Dave's DMs like every 2 days for like 2 weeks, just asking questions about the deck, and I'd improved a lot of the deck in a shorter period of time, in large part thanks to his help, and also just jamming a bunch of games. And yeah, I felt bad. I felt like I'd kind of wasted his efforts. The only thing that makes me feel a little bit better about it is now I actually do feel like I'm quite confident on purple decks. Like, if I need to bring a purple deck to Ghent, I can bring a purple deck to Ghent. So just being able to expand my toolkit as a player to bring different decks, different events, I think was still really valuable. It was the one sort of silver lining I could find in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You do have those last minute jitters, and I think they always have the events when you do the Friday event, and there's like a side event. And I swear, sometimes people, man, they play a certain deck just to try throw the room off. Like, I remember in like some of the events, people were just playing hyper aggro decks just to be like, maybe I can put some fear into people of this is what you're going to see tomorrow, and then it's not. It's just like people brought like Steel Song or something like that. But yeah, it is hard to. Also, as well, the minute you've locked in and you said this is my choice, that's the moment your brain will start looking for all the issues why it shouldn't be your choice and all the imperfections
Yeah,
for it. And
yeah.
because your brain has nothing else to do besides go, well, let's look at the negatives now. So it's just how it happens. But bringing one deck
Yeah,
usually,
because the moment something started feeling bad in my pick is when I started looking at the positives of green blue, but wasn't really thinking about the negatives of green
yeah,
blue because I hadn't been testing it.
and that's always the positives of just bringing one deck with you, because also as well you don't just
Yeah.
flip flop all the time on like which one am I actually going to lock in at the last minute.
Also, just I don't want to play side events the day before. If I'm like sure I wasn't feeling great about my pick, but the moment I did well with it on Friday and I felt good about it, I should have just stopped playing because I felt good on the Friday after playing that Hong Kong locals. And the moment you feel good, you should probably just stop playing and carry that feel good energy in.
Yeah. I if I've got the event on the weekend, like the Saturday, I will play and hopefully stop by the Thursday when I'm feeling positive about it, and also just stepping
Yeah.
back from it as well, because I find sometimes if you get really into the nitty gritty of a deck and like what your opponent can do to beat you and answer you, and you're almost playing their like lines out in your head, where it's like, oh, if they do excerpt here, then sing this song here, then do this, I lose. And like you look at your opponent and they're like, I have no idea that you could do that. They're not even thinking that, or like, or whatever. And you just kind of work yourself into worry, don't you? Because you're like only thinking of the
Yeah.
lines where you lose, rather than thinking, well, you'll do fine. Just play Elsa on 5, like you'll be fine.
Yeah, you're like thinking of a worst case scenario as opposed to thinking about the range of hands that you
Yeah.
win versus the range of hands that you lose. And you can't just always play around with small percentage scenarios. You have to consider what is my overall expected value into this range versus that range,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, it's like if you lose to the ramp on 2 with green blue, like ramp on 2 into what's it called, Cinderella, into having the 1 drop and the 7 drop. Now, statistically, they're not going to have that every time. But if you like just before an event played a game where someone did like a really powerful line on it against you, you just imagine they always have it because your brain's just always going to think of the worst scenario where, and then they just throw a John Silver down on the board. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot they could even do that because I'm only thinking of the worst case scenarios here.
Yeah. I think it's tough. I mean, it's like again, it's a good lesson to learn. Best of 1 tournaments are tough. I mean, most of the really strong players you think of, like they're, they can sometimes crash out at a best of 1 tournament. I mean, in round 7 at 3-3, I played against Lamb Chops, right? And Lamb Chops is a very strong player. So the fact that both of us were sitting across from each other out of the tournament at 3-3 is a really funny position to be in.
Was there any more reason to play? Was there outsider cut prizing, or
No. I wanted to drop so that I could scout for my team's top cuts pairings because it wasn't open deck top cut until top 16.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like get some info for my teammates that were going into top cut. Like Justice was going into top cut and Will was going into top
Justice
cut.
going to top cut.
So I wanted.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He made it to top 32.
Top 32. Does that get you anything?
Oh, you got a Simba.
Okay, cool. I was watching Autumn play on the stream, and there was a moment where I think it was the last round before it goes to best of 3, and she top decks Under the Sea to wipe the entire board from the dogs player, and it's just like you can see him scrounging to find any play you can do after that. Like the opponent is, and she's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna win now. And it's like, oh, that is how backbreaking this format can be. Like there's no go next and I maybe beat,
and it top cut and it's still best of 1.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy.
There's no like, oh, maybe I scoop and then next game I can get you. No, you have just lost. Like you lose when they
just
if they can get the Under the Sea off, you tend to just lose that matchup. But yeah, it was so backbreaking to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I think best of 1 sucks. I don't think any card. I don't think any tournament within Lorcana should do it because I've always talked about how much I like 2-game format because it evens out the play draw, and I prefer it over best of 3. oh my god, I would take best of 3 every day over best of 1 because both of them have a play draw problem, but at least you have 2 more games to even it out. Whereas, in best of 1, if you lose the dice roll, your whole round is on the draw. You don't even get 1 game on the play like you do in best of 3.
Would you think maybe if they could double the rounds then and give you, instead of having 2-game format, you just have like a lot of rounds to kind of, you could maybe even lose like.
But why not just play 2-game format at that point? If you're playing best of 1s anyway. 2-game format is just 2 best of 1s against the same person where you get 1 on the play and 1 on the draw.
Most likely probably why they did it. Yes, I guess so, yeah.
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 And it's just a fair format. I think it's good. I think if they fix the point system and change the incentives around the whole I'll concede if you win game 1 thing, then I think it's fine.
2-game format, believe
it works well. Take away the bonus point.
Yeah. I don't know how excited people would be for 2-game format to be back.
Yeah, I mean, I know the reason it isn't around anymore is because people just like best of 3 better.
Yeah.
And 2-game format wasn't perfect, but I still think 2-game format was better than best of 3, even though it wasn't perfect, because the flaws of best of 3 people have just accepted as the normal. So almost like when I wasn't looking at the flaws of green blue, when I was looking for a way out of yellow purple, I think people weren't looking at the positives of 2-game format when they were looking for a way out of it.
I think for some as well, it was just for me personally, I felt 2-game format was just a dull player experience. And if you're going just for I need to get time off work, man. I need to save the money up to go do these things. So it's like, I just want to have a fun experience sometimes. Like, I would like to get top cut and win and get a bunch of prizing, get a bunch of money and stuff. But for me personally, like, this is part of my free time I'm dedicating to this. So yeah, it just felt like 2-game format as a player experience was kind of dull. Going 1-1 just felt like, what was that? We just tied basically. But yeah, I don't think best of 3 is perfect. As well, especially not in Lorcana, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like if you win the die roll as well, you're already going in with a bit more of a favoured start to the match.
Oh, for sure. Because you're looking at, like, assuming you win game 1, you get 2 games on the play. And best of 3 almost has, like, half a best of 1 problem where a lot of the game can be decided by whoever wins game 1, because that means they get to go first in game 3 if they lose game 2.
Yeah. And
but that's still so much better than best of 1. Best of 1, you miss ramp, you're out. You go second, you're out. You top deck 1 too many 2 on inkables, you're out.
The only game
it's just so much variance
I've played where best of 1 felt fine was I've done 2 One Piece regionals, and one of them I was top 100. I think I was like 1 game away from making top cut, and I did all right. It was all best of 1. When you do the Swiss there. But that game is 50 card decks, and you start by taking 10 cards out of the deck. Every card that you play will say search the top 5. The variants, the way of you missing ramp or whatever.
But like in-game variants.
Yeah, it's very much down to more skill-based, because all of that, and it's all about like deck building, matchups, all those things are there. And of course, because you get to look at pretty much all of the deck, you don't feel like you're going to get screwed on those sort of aspects of it. But like, Lorcana's not there. Lorcana's a 60-card deck thing, and besides the really gracious mulligan they give you, you don't always see most of your deck anyway. Like, you don't get to see most of the... And there's some decks as well, like, especially the Amber Steel aggro decks, they're built in a way that if you have a bad mulligan, you're probably just going to lose, because you're only going to see 20 cards of it, aren't you, really? And if those 20 cards suck, you're probably just going to lose the game anyway.
Yeah, and that's why they build 4-ofs of, like, everything, because... if you're only seeing 15 cards in your deck, you kind of need 4-ofs.
That's why all the aggro decks, they're built as in like 3 and 4Xs, because you're only you just want to see these cards. There's not like a random one-off. It's not like Purple Steel where you're going to draw like 1 billion cards. So, yeah. Right. Is there any more we'd like to talk about Hong Kong?
No, I think that's it. Well, I mean, I guess talking about like Hong Kong, the place, was amazing. I got to see my auntie, who I haven't seen in quite a while. The last time I visited, I saw her in New Zealand a few years ago. But the last time she's from Hong Kong, and the last time I saw her in Hong Kong was like 15 years ago, like a long time ago. And she took me to like a real local place to get some food. And you know me, I became a competitive Lorcana player so that I could find a way to fund traveling to eat food in new places. So Hong Kong was a much better city for me. than most other DLC locations. It's, it was up there with like Bologna, like eating food in Italy, right? Because, at this local place, she buys us a bunch of dishes to eat, and it's so local that they give you like the bowl to like with some like cleaning liquid to like wash your own bowl before you eat, and then like sit down like outside kind of tables. And then we got some really interesting stuff. We got like salted egg yolk, fried prawns, fried pig intestine, like some oysters, some pig bones, some duck tongue.
See,
I had never had
when
that
we
before.
go,
And just like some fried whitebait, just some really tasty stuff.
I'm always the one that I will just have McDonald's or whatever. Like, it's not that I don't care. I've generally tried to like eat fancy, and it just doesn't do anything for my taste buds. Like, I just don't notice it.
I like how you say eat fancy, because to me it's not fancy. I'm trying to not eat fancy. I'm just trying to eat like local, like
exploring.
What people
then
eat
I don't
every
know.
day when they live there.
Exploring.
Yeah. I guess more
Adventurous.
You could say
Yeah,
adventurous, like stuff different to what you're used to.
Yeah, adventurous. I think is probably the word I'm looking for. Because as you say, like we've gone into like some. I think we went to like a small like Vietnamese restaurant once. There's like I wouldn't call that fancy, but it was. It wasn't McDonald's, mate. It wasn't burger and chips. It was.
It weren't a Greg's.
It wasn't
mate,
Greg's. No, it wasn't
roll
Greg's.
And my cheese and onion steak bake.
Yeah, it weren't cheese and beans, mate. It was a little bit different.
It weren't cheese and beans.
Yeah, I can kind of get that as well.
Dude, I'd love to see you walk into like a restaurant at the Paris Championship and be like, "Oh, mate, do you have a cheese and bean pastry, anything like that in France?"
My favorite thing so far from traveling food wise has been the Americans. Is it 7-Eleven or something where they had like $1 pizza slices, like $2 pizza,
and just like the rotating hot dogs.
They had like
there for God knows how many months.
They had like $2 pizza slices, and I think if you bought another one, it was like half price. And I was like, this is heaven. I love this so much. Like, this is amazing. But like, yeah, all the European stuff as well is pretty nice.
Mate, you would have liked New York. Me and Will, we got a $1 pizza slice.
Yeah, I think I would. I'd love it if they put a DLC in New York, but had to be just. I guess if you flew to Richmond, you had to fly there, didn't you? That's why you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, we flew to New York and then got the overnight Amtrak down to Richmond. Nice. But that was from a previous episode. We can't talk about America now. That's all.
Right, we should go on.
Let's talk about. Let's
go on to the next topic, because we're very organised here. And set 11, I guess, is what we should be talking about. And like, basically, the cards are all out now. The set isn't out, but all the cards out. So I'm sure yourself, I have as well been just testing and trying out what we like and what we don't like. And I guess, of course, I've also had this talk myself. I know you do. You mentioned it on the last time of like trying to keep whatever deck you're going to play a little bit close to your heart. And maybe not announce it to everyone. And I kind of want to do that as well, because for the last few events I've played, people have been walking to my table with the Dreamborn open with my deck list on, or mulliganing exactly knowing what I was going to play. So yeah, I've got a few options. I've been like a few decks I've really been enjoying this set, but I haven't really locked in on anything yet. And I don't think I've been mentioning what I'm playing, but.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. If you're DKP, you can just sell a Metafire guide and be really good at one deck and still do well consistently, because Blurple has been a good deck every format for post-rotation. However, if you're not going to learn the deck to that degree and skill def people, even if they mull into you, then I think you can't discredit the disadvantage, right? That comes from having information be known. Because if you go, I don't care who knows who I'm on my deck, I'm going to beat them anyway. If you're, to be frank, if you're not that level of player yet, ignoring the information disadvantage is sort of like putting the cart before the horse, right? You can't act like you're an unbeatable player before you've attained that level of skill. And I don't think I'm that player, which is why I try and keep what deck I'm playing close to my heart. It's why no one knew that I was going to be on yellow-purple until I changed last minute to green-blue for Hong Kong.
Yeah, and I think some people have suggested it to you, some friends as well. So I thought maybe I'd do it. I mean, the odds are I just take Sapphire Steel anyway. But, let's play this little game of cat and mouse where I might play something else and get excited about it.
I mean, maybe you find something you like that works.
I have realised, though, in testing, I'm very much a Steel boy. When I play outside of Steel, I'm just like, I don't really like the options I have here on display. Like I brought Blurple to the last DLC, and I just didn't like that I didn't have access to steel cards. But I guess that's sort of comforting.
I mean, if you just like steel cards, it's like
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
right? Like if you like your strengths and you like your Zeuses and you like your Docs. I mean, you said Doc is like, I can't remember where you said this on JDRR's podcast. I mean, you just said Doc's like your favorite card.
Oh, I love Doc. I and generally like I'll play, like me and Ali play some games, but I play some games with friends as well for practice. And if I have the ability to top deck Doc and I've got no cards in hand, I am generally at the edge of my seat. I'm like a kid at like the candy store, like just before, like if Christmas morning, like, oh, is Santa gonna come yet? And I flip in if it's not Doc.
Is it gonna be Doc, Mummy? Is it gonna be Doc? Please be Doc,
It's Doc
Mummy.
gonna be.
Am I getting Doc?
And then you just have these amazing games where you just top deck Doc and it just floods into the board. I just love the card. It's so simple in its design.
Yeah.
And I think just right now as well, the limited card draw outside of purple cards, it just could be so much fun. But the first thing actually, I guess I mentioned I've been playing is Amber Steel, mainly with set 11. I think we're going to definitely get some concrete, these decks are good, these decks are the best, aren't we? But it seems everything got like something to play with. Like, so with Amber Steel, there's the new Nani card, which is looking at the top 4, I think. And you get to take a 2 cost or less, so you can take Doc. And you on top of that, you got cards like Pudge as well, the new Steel Lilo that's been in controversy with its ruling. Like, and that's just one color combo.
Can I say one thing about Pudge, actually? In my testing, I'm starting to feel that Pudge is a bit bait. It's a bit of a bait card.
Yeah, I think in Amber Steel, it's definitely bait. The only time I found it decent in Dogs is maybe with a Rockstar Stitch build, and
I think with Rockstar's the only time like you get good value out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you don't if you don't have Rockstar, you're killing your hand to play bad cards with Pudge. But if you do have Rockstar, it's a 0 ink, like
it's
draw
a
a
free
new card, have a token 1 free on the board, right? Like that's great in Rockstar. I think anything outside of Rockstar, I don't think it like. The idea of having Pudges and keeping Pudges in hand, if you compare it to, would I ever want to keep multiple 1-drops in hand that are multiple Olafs in hand, right? And the answer is no. Most of the time, I don't want multiple Olafs in hand. Multiple Daisy Ducks, great. Multiple Olafs, not so great.
I think as well, so in the Amber Steel, you have more Lilos to use, but again, like you say, I'm just putting 1/3s on the board that, you know, unless they quested for 2, I don't care. And in Dogs, you've only really got 1 Lilo. There is a 1-drop Lilo, but we're mainly talking about Escape Artist, the 2-drop. And it's like...
Well, you also do have a 1-drop Lilo is pretty good because it's basically like... It's a 1/2 that quests for 2 if you have a Stitch on board, which basically makes it an uninkable Lady 1 cost.
Yeah,
right?
it's just... Oh, they do have the green Stitch as well. Yeah, that one's not too bad. But I think the other thing outside of Rockstar Stitch I was going to mention that I think is pretty good is it is maths for Under the Sea. And I think with how popular Dogs is right now, and like how much we're probably going to see it and how much people are testing it, like doing those sneaky under the sea maths and things are going to become quite important. Like if you play the mirror against like very good Dogs players, it's knowing when to get that like shift lady under the sea, you know, all those like sneaky moments that you can, like the deck is incredibly complex, I think. Yeah, so
but I mean, I think if you're playing the Stitch package, you don't really have space for the 5-cost lady. So it's sort of like there's 2 schools of thought with Dogs right now, which is just slam Willow into traditional Dogs. Slam Willow, slam Nani, play it like that. Or you full commit to the Rockstar Stitch strategy and you're playing Pudges, you're playing Lilos, and you're going for like full high roll. The problem with Rockstar Stitch is sort of that it can be Elsid, it can be Tiggered, like your shift target, right? It can be Elsid, it can be Tiggered, it can be Angela. There's so much interruption in the meta to prevent your shift that generally I think Rockstar's just worse into the purple
it's
deck.
also that high roll of if I get this to all work, it's great. You know, if I play the 1-drop, I get the Willow Tree and I get the early shift. I love all of this. And then as you say, I need the Pudges, I need the cheap stuff to get the card draw. But it's like, I don't know, if you're going into top deck mode and you top deck a 6-drop and you've only got 3 ink or something, it's kind of like just this really horrible brick as well. And Lady, the 5-cost never felt as bad because you usually had shift lines on the board. Yeah, it's just feels a bit I think the Rockstar Lilo as well just completely fell out of anyone's favor.
Yeah, so I was testing for Rockstar Lilo, and kind of a problem with it is with a lot of these shift lines, you want shift cards and opening curve because you want to plan out the 1-drop, the base form and the shift form. But when you ever like, how often do you have something in your discard that's worth grabbing with Lilo and playing? Like most of the time, you're thinking of those mid-game scenarios, late-game scenarios where you can grab a dock and replay it, and it's like insanely high roll. But other than that, like, what cards are you grabbing that it feels good to grab back? Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, but everything got like something to play around with. Like, it is early set, so I'm not going to say red yellow is going to take over the meta, but the red yellow players crawled out of wherever they live and started playing that again.
I was looking at the stats. I thought it was insane. Why there was like 5,000 games of red yellow played.
Yeah.
I think there's more red yellow being played than like green blue and dogs.
Now. I mean, green blue just seems a nightmare to play right now. I don't know where that deck's not underpowered or bad or anything. It's just
green blue's an amazing deck. It's just too much aggro in the meta. I honestly think like the strongest decks in the meta right now are dogs, green blue, blurple, and purple steel. I think blue yellow is a bit fake. To be honest, I haven't seen.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it. Yeah, someone record that. I think blue yellow is pretty. The only thing it kind of does is can beat other control decks, but not even that well, and to the point where you'd probably just play green blue anyway. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. The problem is, I think it still loses to green blue. Yeah.
Do you think it still loses to green blue?
I think it still loses to green blue.
Okay. They have.
But green blue just needs to play like the Hades and stuff instead, so that they can match blue yellow's Hades. But I just think Raging Storm is just so. It's just a rough card to play. Like, it's not singable. It costs one more. You're deleting your whole board. And that worked in red purple and red blue because you had such efficient draw engines to refill resources after board wiping. But in blue yellow, you don't really have that. You don't have the card
I think
draw.
that when I was testing it right at the start, and yeah, you lack the card draw, you lack the things that you need in a purple deck. And also as well, once some people get smart enough, it was the same way people played around Be Prepared. It's like, it's coming, I'll just won't play my cards this turn. They play Be Prepared. Now I play like 3 daisies on the board, or a daisy and a Lilo. And the thing is, like, the red decks used to be able to go like Medusa, Tremaine, Brawl, whatever. And they can still do that. They've got Headless Horseman and Grab Your Bow. But Amber, it's like, so they play Raging Storm and then you just play 2 daisies and they're like, well, I either have to play another Raging Storm or I just lose the game at this point. So it just feels like the color combo is kind of strange in that way.
Yeah. I also, on the note of Raging Storm, I don't know what spooky sight in these blue decks. Like, it doesn't even beat dogs.
No, it's literally just so they can keep playing for longer and then lose. I don't see the point of it either.
You like, especially the Rockstar version and even the normal version with Lady, you give them a metric ton of ink. They still have a Rockstar on board. All they need is like one drop, and then they're just chaining like 1 and 2 drops to refill the board. And then you haven't gained any ink, and you've lost a card.
I think as well with that one, it's like, I found sometimes versus green blue, some people had it. I think Quincy had it in his list at some point in the DLC. It's like,
yeah, he had a one of.
Yeah, with spooky sight though, it's so like choreographed. It's like, if it's a deck that popularly plays it, they go like ramp Cindy, then they're gonna spooky sight. He was like, again, cool. I just won't play these cards that are in my hand. Then you do your spooky sight. Then I play my cards with a quadrillion ink and just win the game. Yeah,
I think Spooky feels so bad in Best of 3 because of that. I think Spooky was like, even I tested 2 Spooky in green blue for the Hong Kong event, and even then I was like, this card is just so horribly bad into every other matchup, and it still doesn't beat dogs like consistently.
I love the review of it. This is so horribly bad, and I still am not beating dogs.
Yeah. So why am I playing a card that's inting me into every other matchup when it only beats dogs 1 in 3 times I play it?
And if it was a best of 3, they go, cool, I'm just going to play around Spooky Sight the next time.
Yeah. And the moment it's a best of 3, they just play around it perfectly.
I think the card that's interests me the most, though, right at the start of the set, I had quite a lot of faith in this card, but I didn't see it really land in anyone's lists or anything. And to be honest with you, I wasn't smart enough to see where it landed. But the new Steel Angel Legendary is pretty much gonna be like staple in every steel deck that's not an aggro deck. Like purple steel can use it, blue steel definitely can use it. Like there's just so.
But I don't think blue steel uses it as well because they don't have enough card draw to make it okay to int their hand because they need to be inking a lot as well.
The thing that the way I've done it, because I've been picking up Sapphire Stylian. I think the most optimal way to play it right now is the Jasmine build because Angel and
Hmm.
Pete are both allies. So it kind of just means you've just got better mass of cards that she can find for you. And with Pete and stuff and Goliath and Doc, it never feels terrible. I think if you want to be basically making sure that you can angel every turn, then yeah, purple still definitely is the better choice for it because when you're not going to be drawing cards. But you have to remember like how much blue steel sort of bricks as well. You're going to get double Cindy's so much, and basically being able
Or a
to turn
second
that.
dot.
Say that next card that I draw over to Tipo, I can now turn that Tipo into fire the cannons, which is definitely very useful into the dogs matchup.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I just think that overall the card's pretty good. I think even in these Amber Steel like song like versions, like Steel
Songs.
Song reinvented versions, I still don't think it's bad in there either. Like it's just
I think it makes some degree of sense in there, even if you're not drawing as many cards, because I mean you're 2-for-1ing when you do this, right? Which isn't great. But if you need to take out something big, you can like stack a Zeus with an Angel for 6, right? Which changes thresholds on a
yeah.
lot of cards.
I found if you into dogs, it's not been too bad because, of course, you ramp on 2, you get an angel down on turn 3. You start taking out the tree, you know, you get putting them off the 7-cost tramp a little bit. Next turn, saying that I know you have no way to deal this angel, so I'm going to take another thing from your board. You know, of course, they play daisies and stuff like that. You can't, but you know, and then I'm going to start playing my Tinkerbell, start playing my Hades, and you're probably going to lose the game. So the card's been just really quite impactful, to be honest with you.
Yeah, which is why the tree is so good in Dog Sweat, because previously, if you had like an Angel last format and they mess up your trap math, you're
Yeah.
screwed. But at least on the play-in dogs, even into Angel decks that ramp and get it out on turn 3, you can get Tramp out on turn 3 if
Yes,
you go
yeah.
1-drop, Willow 1-drop, and then next turn
The
play
first
Tramp.
time I played the Willow Tree, when I found out you could get Tramp down on turn 3, kind of just really blew my mind at how powerful that card is.
So crazy, because not only is it getting you an extra card out, but then on the turn after it essentially counts as 2 cards with the Tramp math. So you have essentially 4 units out, right? Sorry, 4 characters out on board by turn
Yeah.
2. it's
Yeah,
nuts.
the fact that it says -1 to the Tramp as well is just ridiculous. That card's very strong, and it's sort of it seems every color. Purple Steel is probably the only deck in the format that will not be using ramp. If you think about it as well,
Yeah.
because yeah, that card in a sense is just ramp, and Sail has been around for.
Yeah, because even Amber Steel would play Willow.
You
now,
might
right?
as well.
What do you think of Amber Steel? I've been playing like a Rockstar Stitch version, trying the Lilo as well on Amber Steel. My only problem is Rockstar Stitch feels really good in green yellow because you can get a turn free Stitch out with like, 1-drop Willow plus 1-cost Stitch, then shift Stitch, and you can win the game from there if your Stitch isn't dealt with, right? But then when you're playing Amber Steel, you only have 2-cost Stitches, and both of them are pretty bad.
yeah. The badness levels maximum is the new one. Yeah, it's not very good. I didn't bother doing the Rockstar Lilo, and I didn't bother doing the. I think a lot of people are looking at the Rockstar Lilo for Amber Steel because the idea that you get to play Doc for free again from your discard is so tempting to them.
It sounds
But
so
it
cool,
never
but
really
then it
works
never
that way.
happens.
Like I played that, and like over 5 games, I think I got like a Captain Hook for free once, and I was like, "This is terrible. Like I don't want this."
Yeah. The only way I saw it working was if you like Mulan'd your Doc early,
Yeah.
but then at that point, why
Unless you- yeah.
you're just taking away 1 usage of
Terrible.
Doc.
Yeah. So
I mean, Olaf is just way better than Met and Purple Steel, right? Because you can play the Doc, hit the Olaf, put the Doc back in your
yeah.
hand.
So I think. Yeah, I think it's a lot better. That the Olaf is a pretty impactful card. That's pretty much every purple steel list. With Amber Steel, so I played a lot of it right at the start. Like that's a deck that I always want to see if it works because I love just playing the very quick aggro deck. That means I get 40 minutes between each round at a DLC. So I really wanted it to work.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was the other thing in Hong Kong. Final thing. Playing green, blue, and best of 1, I didn't get 5 minutes to go get water or go to the toilet at any point.
How long were
So
rounds?
bad.
Like 30-minute rounds?
25 minutes.
minutes.
25 minutes per
That's
round.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's so
That's just
ridiculous.
bad, yeah. No, it's just bad. Like there's no way else to describe it.
It's just bad.
But yeah, I think okay, Amber Steel. I've been quite championing at the start, and I tried everything. I tried the Rockstar builds. I think Grandmother Willow Tree fine works in the deck pretty well because Amber deck that just wants to go wide. I think the best thing you're going to do though is you're just going to have to go back to playing a sort of Tiana based aggro build where against the
Yeah.
green blues.
I mean, just slot Willow in with like Auroras and just have more ways to like go
Yeah,
wide.
that's where I landed on it. I mean, last set all they really got was Mowgli, and this set put Grandmother Willow Tree. Your uninkables are ridiculous, but you don't care because your turn 3 can be like play Tiana plus a Daisy, and then the next turn just sing Strength Doc, go massively wide and win the game.
Yeah, and honestly, at least like Angel and Mowgli have given you 2 more tools to beat dogs,
Yeah.
so maybe the matchup isn't as bad as it used to be.
I wouldn't go that far, champ.
It's still bad, still really bad.
Yeah, because whenever I played Amber Steel into dogs, there is of course ways to win it. I don't think it's just clean cut you lose, but it's probably 70% in their favor. It's that thing of
maybe you need to play the new Angel 1-drop, like underdog card, 2-cost 1-drop.
Tried it,
free,
terrible.
you sing
Awful.
Beyond the Horizon.
The minute you turn that sideways, it's going to get eaten by a Webby buff on like a Bobby or something.
Yeah, but all you need is 1 Beyond the Horizon to take away that trap.
Oh yeah, but it's just and that's the issue. Whenever you've played the matchup for Amber Steel versus Dogs, is you kind of do your Amber Steel is a bit more of a stalemate deck as well. Like it doesn't instantly want to turn sideways, except for into green, blue, and blurple.
And Dogs is the best deck in that
so you're building up your boards. You're like, I play
a
a Daisy, I play a Nala or a Lilo or whatever, play Tiana, and they're like, cool, I have 5 characters, and then next turn, all of your cards are going to the bottom of your deck. And, you can try and gas them out a little bit, but the minute that you try and take like one cheap quest and just turn something sideways, they go...
Or if you give them a card for Daisy
which you definitely can't do, because...
you can't
the minute you try and take like a cheap quest from like a Nala or a Lila, they go, cool, tramp buff, hit for 4 quadrillion damage. And you're like, that was terrible.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe get lucky with the docks. You can kind of punish them a bit with the Rhino. So there is a bit of a back and forth. You do have strength as well, fire the cannons. You can throw them out. But the issue with fire the cannons is you cannons their, whatever it's called, like tree. And they're like, yeah, okay, but... you just lost 1 card at a hand as well, and you didn't put a body on the board, so I don't really care. I'm just going to keep spamming stuff on the board. So yeah, it just doesn't feel great, that matchup. You kind of, and you can never Mowgli them really, like.
Yeah. I mean, especially like if they're running Dellas or they just like anything. It doesn't even matter. Like if you discard something with Mowgli, like you're never getting rid of the tramp, right? And then they can tramp to find what
the
they need.
majority of the time, I'll Mowgli and they'll play their 7-cost tramp, of course. You Mowgli and they show you another 7-cost tramp, because that's always the best line to do, is to not find the thing that you need. You find
it's to not find it on the first one, so that you find it with the second one, and then
just sing it there and then
to use it.
Which has just been horrible. But I think Amber Steel though really falls into like the tier 1.5 aggro deck that I swear people will play it. People love that color combo. They love it as much as people love Sapphire Steel. So like always anticipate it. But it'll probably...
Are there that many Sapphire Steel fans?
There is. Surprisingly, there's a cult of them. And
surprisingly, I mean,
I put dinner on my table and feed my kids because of them fans. So thank you very much.
Whoa! Hey, former Sapphire Steel player here, recovering addict.
Recovering. Yeah, but remember still, like, and also as well, even in the later stages of like CCQs and stuff on the last set, people were top cutting with that deck. Like, people don't find of it like.
Yeah, I mean, Sapphire Steel is like it's on the up. It's like I think it's in the most playable state it's ever been post rotation.
I'm talking about Amber Steel here. I think that deck's in a fine spot where like we did see it appear in like some CCQs and stuff, and it was all right. But like Sapphire Steel generally. It's in not a bad spot. Actually, it's probably the best it's been in a while. Yeah, the Jasmine builds especially.
Yeah, it's like so close to tier 1.
I wrote this in one of the Discords. It's like tier 1.25, and of course I know I'm the one who's like going to sell it, and I'm always going to back it. But generally,
no. But I feel that, and as someone who avoids playing Sapphire Steel these days, like because I know I really like the deck, so I don't want to trick myself into playing a bad deck because I love it.
It's different. It's way different to you. I remember it. Yeah, it's so
it's way different. Yeah, so I definitely don't love it in the same way. But sometimes people change, and you can learn to love the new version of them. And do you know what? I'm starting to like the new version of Blue Seal. What I'm seeing, I think there's a lot of room for innovation. I remember I was tuning into like Jeremy's Space, an R&B poster list with like Darkwing
Yeah,
detectives.
so
It seems like there's some and the location. There's some interesting stuff you could do
this
there.
set, we got two great allies, Angel and of course Pete, the Ghost Pete, which is a pretty much like a 5-cost Dumbo that lets you draw a card every turn. Um, like them both being
Great card.
what they called them both being allies is pretty great for ally. But of course we got all this Darkwing Duck stuff that meant the detective build for some reason as well. Like for such a mid-color combo that never does very well, we've got like 5 different deck choices that you can pick from. Like
What I feel like you have more deck choices because none of them have proven
No,
themselves
so we just
to
keep
be
trying
like
new stuff.
competitively playable yet.
Yeah.
You're just like throwing stuff at the wall, hoping
There's a
something
princess
sticks.
build out there I've seen. You know, there's loads of different stuff.
Dude, I'm 100% confident there is a furniture build within Sapphire Steel. You've got like every tribal under the
Probably,
sun
yeah. I mean,
possible.
because we got Darkwing Duck stuff, they're all detectives. They're their own package. You can pair them with the detective package, which kind of makes a deck, but I haven't been utterly impressed by it, to be honest with you. So I don't know what about that, but it's cool. There's lots there going for it. I think my opinion, why I think it's like tier 1.25, is that its green blue matchup is still pretty horrible, and when aggro sort of
Yeah.
dies down,
And green blue is a deck to fear, man. Like
Yeah.
that deck didn't
Like-
really get much with set, but it's still insanely
not saying that
powerful.
like other decks like enjoy that matchup, but because a lot of the aggro is sort of scaring it into a position of being like less than 10% possibly at meta shares, I think Sapphire Steel can come in and shine a bit, but yeah, that matchup's just not great. I really feel like that's the only linchpin of it that's like, you know, that deck is the deck right now. I think still, I still think it's going to be by the end of set 11.
Yeah, I think it would be easier to bring these kinds of like blue steel anti aggro picks if it wasn't for the fact. I mean, it's not just green blue that destroys blue steel. It's also Blurple, and Blurple's highly played.
Well, Blurple. The Jasmine ally build, though, that's well. If you talk to Dave as well, when he went to the last DLC, convinced all of his friends to bring a Sapphire Steel ally build, and they said they were there for the for the purple matchups. They quite like them. I personally don't. Whenever I've played it, I don't feel favored into Blurple. But even like Rip Lungs is posting like 2-0 wins on it. I'm like, you know, there's got to be something to
but
it.
To be fair, Rip Lungs he'll post anything, man.
What were you gonna say?
He's a blue steel diehard.
Yeah, but someone posted today that in his tier list he didn't rate Sapphire Steel as tier 1. He put it in tier 1.5, which is big. You know, it's big for him.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. Because I'd agree with him. I think it's tier 1.5.
Yeah, I think it's
the most playable position it's ever been post rotation.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's got loads of options. It does it's also just using busted cards now, like Angel and stuff like that. So, just think it's good.
It also just has more of a reason to exist because aggro's real now. You can't just keep dodging aggro like we all did in Richmond. I think anyone would agree that dogs pretty much had no losing matchups going into Richmond, and yet it still was like an 8% deck because people just didn't want to learn it. But now with Willow Tree, not only is dogs easier to play, it's also more powerful. So I think aggro is like way more of a thing this set. So like playing anti-aggro decks is more viable.
Now on to the real deck, Ruby Amethyst. I think no.
Let's cut the episode here.
Because you might beat some dogs players, you might, but then you're just going to lose to everything else, I think.
I don't think Ruby Amethyst even beats dogs.
Do you not think so?
Or at least it does now with Grab Your Bow, probably.
Oh, that card's terrible. Yeah, but you play that.
I haven't lost to it yet, though. Playing dogs. I've been playing some dogs. The only deck I've lost to on dogs is Blue Steel, actually.
Nice. And that's where this weird amount of pride for Blue Steel has come from. It's like the only thing that's toppled your empire.
I have some respect for it now. I have some respect for it now.
I'll put some respect on that. Well, okay. Going into segue, because I think we're coming up to quite a lot of time on this episode, we'll talk about the last thing.
Yeah.
We've got some events coming up. I personally am going to be playing at the Axion event in the UK, which I really do love.
So am I.
Yep, you're coming as well. I think it's a really good event, and
I kind of thought you'd be casting it.
I've kind of realised that I'm not going to talk too much behind the scene about people's casting stuff, but the casting space is very not cutthroat, but like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that
there's
really
a lot
want
of
to
people
cast.
that want to do it, and not many
Yeah,
spots.
a lot of people really want to cast, and I do get offered things sometimes. And like at the start, I was like putting my name out, but I realized I don't want it that badly. You know, as much as the work and the effort that other people are doing for it, like I'd prefer they get the job. So I just stopped putting my name out for things like that. And
you should just start putting my name in, because I actually want to do it.
You want to do it?
I want to do it. I want to cast.
I didn't even know they got
I
this
asked too
time.
late to cast this one. But what I did say was, oh, damn, well, I can't cast Axiom. Unlucky for the Axiom players. They're going to have to play against me now.
Which just great banter.
Great banter. Also, like, really, it's a really good, like, ego thing to say, to be like, well, I can't cast. Guess I'm going to have to be a menace at the tournament in Top Card instead.
Do you know who...
You're going to have to win it instead. You're going to have me on the stream one way or the other. Either on the desk or playing the match.
I know LD is one of them, I think.
If I know, I'm not sure if I can say.
No. Neither do I. Ignore what I just said that name.
You know what you just said? No one heard that.
No one heard that name. Yeah, no. I didn't know if they announced them yet or not. Well,
I don't know if they haven't, which is why I kept my mouth shut.
Oh. I saw it said in like a... All right, cut all of this. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, we're going to that. I can't say what deck are you bringing. No. And the next event afterwards.
I don't even know what deck I'm bringing. No, to be fair, I'm testing everything.
I've still got quite a lot. I've got a lot as well, and I keep almost putting pre-orders in for certain cards because we're getting a case, but it's like, is that going to be enough?
To be honest, I was I don't know what deck I'm bringing, because the last 3 days I've started each day going, man, this deck is great. I'm gonna bring this one.
Oh yeah,
it's been different every day.
When I picked up Purple Steel, my actual initial thought was, why is not everyone just playing this deck? It's perfect. And then you play into, into like green blue on the draws, and you're like, oh, I kind of get it now. This is terrible. Like,
oh, I kind of understand. Yeah, because honestly, like, if you're playing Purple Steel into green blue, even if you're on the play, you're sort of like, there's no way you can win. You're just hoping they don't see what they need.
You just play as quickly as you possibly can, and you hope they don't find anything they need to find, and that is the game, which is pretty awful.
Because like the only way Purple Steel has ever beaten me on green blue was in that Hong Kong match, where not only was I on the draw, but I missed ramp and I didn't find combo.
Oh, and then your lunch fell out your backpack.
And trust me, I played a lot of search cards. I played like 2 develops, 2 visions, Cindy's, Donald's. Like I was coming up
with
nothing.
The deck that feels like it has application to everything, and to green blue, you literally just slam them and turn them sideways, and like you don't even. Maybe you cut a shift line off. That's about it. Like it's just not great. But after that, I think
there's no cutting shift lines off anymore, mate. One of them has ward, and the other one they're not playing till they have 6 ink.
What's the next? What as well?
After that, Ghent. We'll both go to Ghent.
Ghent will be really good fun.
And that'll be great. Yeah, and then just because we're running out of time here, we'll keep it snappy. After Ghent, I will be going to Taiwan. So we've got a lot of DLCs to play.
So if anyone found everything we've talked about not interesting, just realize we've got more to talk about, and it will be really interesting.
Yeah, and we will actually get episodes out on time, because hopefully I don't get COVID again.
Did you take a test?
No, but someone else I knew on the trip took a test and they tested positive. Okay. So I assume that it was
COVID, yeah.
It felt like COVID.
Right. Should we wrap up? Because I realise we are closing in like an hour.
Let's wrap it up.
I always say, like, if anyone listening, like, I aim to do about 30 minutes, but we do talk for quite a long time.
We can yap for quite a long time, I've learned.
We can get on a good yap. Yeah. Right.
We can get on a good yap. Well, which is why I'm so excited to see you again, because I couldn't come to the last Content Creator Set Champ because I was away.
Oh, that's yeah. We got to play Brotherhood games, which is really nice.
Yeah. I know. I like Brotherhood, so I said
they
I
made us katsu curry.
Oh, that's great. Beautiful. I'm going to hide my opinions on Katsukari. I think it's awful.
All right, we're ending it here then, because we don't want another 10 minutes of discussion about Katsukari. The Katsukari's great.
Yeah. My only statement is I love Japanese food. I hate Katsukari.
It is like the Japanese food, isn't it?
No, it's British
Oh,
curry.
well, that's probably why I like it. I've got such simple taste. that-
So, actually, now I am going to talk about it. Katsu curry was inspired by the curry that British merchants and sailors would bring to Japan, like their like ruined version of Indian curry with like the bland spices.
the improved spice.
Improved, the improved removal of all spices and flavors.
Right, no, we definitely should
It's just turmeric.
wrap it up
It's
then
just
now
turmeric.
because we're going to be segueing into the discussion on curry.
We're going to be debating katsu curry, yeah.
Right. Goodbye, everyone, then. Thank you very much for listening.
Bye-bye.